So, ready to dive deep into the world of Taekwondo.
Right.
We're going beyond those colorful belts we see and really trying to understand the system behind them.
I'm excited to break it all down.
When I started digging into this, I have to say I was a little surprised by how much depth there is to this whole ranking structure.
Yeah.
It's not just about who's more advanced, is it? It's really woven into how people learn and train, connect in this martial art. We've got a ton of research here too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, academic studies, expert opinions, all shedding light on how the system works and, what it really means for those who dedicate themselves to Taekwondo. I mean, it's pretty fascinating stuff.
It really is. And I think one of the most interesting things about it is how the belts act as this visual roadmap of someone's journey in Taekwondo.
Right.
It's not just about what level they're at right now, but also the story of how they got there.
Exactly. And that visual aspect is so powerful, especially when you think about motivation. Imagine working towards something for months, even years, and then having that tangible symbol of your progress.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like a physical manifestation of all that hard work, all that dedication you've put in. I was reading some research on the psychology of progress markers,
Oh, interesting.
and it really highlighted how important that visual element is. Just seeing yourself move through the ranks, even if it's just a change in belt color, can provide a huge boost in motivation.
And a sense of accomplishment for sure.
Absolutely. It taps into our desire to see progress, to achieve milestones. And in a discipline like Taekwondo, where mastery takes time and dedication, those visual markers, I think, they can make a world of difference.
Oh, absolutely. Keep students engaged, focused on their long-term goals. It's not just about reaching that final black belt either.
Right.
It's about those smaller victories along the way. Each new belt represents a set of skills mastered, challenges overcome.
Yeah. It's funny. It's almost like leveling up in a video game,
Yeah,
but with real-world benefits, obviously.
exactly. Yeah. And unlike a video game, those skills you acquire through the belt system in Taekwondo, they translate directly to your life outside the dojang.
That's a good point.
Yeah, the discipline, the resilience, the ability to focus under pressure, those are qualities that can benefit you in any situation.
I've always been kind of curious about the testing process.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds so rigorous. I mean, with specific techniques, forms that need to be demonstrated for each belt level.
It is demanding.
Yeah.
And intentionally so. Those tests, they're not just about showing off what you know.
Right.
They're about pushing your limits, proving to yourself and your instructors that you've truly internalized the principles, the techniques of that belt level.
From what I've read, the testing styles, they can vary a bit between different schools and organizations. Some seem to emphasize traditional forms, while others might focus more on sparring or self-defense applications.
That's right. There's a certain amount of variation, but the core principles, they stay the same. The tests are designed to assess your technical proficiency, your understanding of the art, and your ability to apply your skills under pressure.
And I imagine there's quite a bit of pressure involved,
Oh, yeah.
especially as you progress to the higher belt levels.
Well, there's definitely a sense of anticipation and excitement that comes with belt testing. But it's not just about passing or failing. It's about challenging yourself, pushing beyond your comfort zone, demonstrating the progress you've made.
So it's about using the test as a tool for growth rather than just a hurdle to overcome.
Precisely. And that mindset is essential for anyone who wants to truly excel in Taekwondo. It's not about chasing belts for the sake of it.
Right.
It's about embracing that journey of continuous learning, self-improvement.
Speaking of the journey, I'd love to dive a little deeper into the structure of the belt system. It seems like there's a very deliberate progression with each belt building on the previous one.
Oh, yeah, that's a key element of the system. It's not just a random assortment of techniques. It's a carefully crafted curriculum that ensures students develop a solid foundation, like in the fundamentals, before moving on to more advanced concepts.
So it's not just about learning new kicks and punches.
No.
It's about deepening your understanding of the principles behind those techniques.
Exactly. It's about developing like a holistic understanding of the art, both physically and mentally. And the belt system provides that framework for that journey, ensuring you're constantly challenged and progressing towards mastery.
That's great.
Yeah.
Like this whole belt system is almost a secret code, like embedded within the Taekwondo tradition. These belts, I mean, they're not just pieces of fabric, are they? They're symbols.
Lineage.
Lineage.
A shared history. connecting practitioners across generations.
Right. And I've always wondered about those early days,
Yeah.
before this whole formalized belt system. How did they track progress and acknowledge skill levels back then?
Well, in many traditional martial arts, the transmission of knowledge was much more informal. Students learned through observation, imitation, and direct guidance from their masters.
So it's more about the master recognizing a student's readiness to advance rather than having this like standardized system.
Exactly. And that personal relationship between master and student, that was paramount. It was about trust, respect, and a deep understanding of the student's individual journey.
But it seems like the modern belt system, it still values those relationships, but it's also introduced a level of structure
Oh, absolutely.
and transparency that benefits both students and instructors.
It provides that clear framework for learning, a set of shared expectations, and a way to recognize and celebrate achievements in a consistent manner.
And that sense of community, that really stands out to me.
Oh, yeah.
Having those shared goals, those rituals of testing and promotion, it creates this like powerful bond between practitioners.
It's like a tribe,
Yeah.
united by a common purpose and a shared passion. You go through the same challenges, you celebrate each other's successes, and you support each other along the way.
And that support system, I mean, it's got to be crucial, especially when the training gets tough.
Yeah.
It's knowing that you're not alone in the struggle,
Mhm.
that others have been through it before
Right.
and come out stronger on the other side.
Yeah. And the higher belts, those who have already walked the path, they play a vital role in guiding and mentoring the newer students.
Right.
It's a beautiful cycle of knowledge sharing and mutual support.
It's interesting how the belt system creates this almost natural hierarchy
Yeah.
within the doshang. But it's not about power or ego,
No.
is it?
It's about respect, responsibility, and a deep understanding of the art's traditions.
Right. So those who have earned higher ranks are expected to embody those principles, right?
Absolutely.
Both inside and outside the doshang.
Both. Yep. They become role models, mentors, guardians of the art's legacy.
And that sense of responsibility must be incredibly empowering. You
Mhm.
know,
It is.
knowing that you've achieved a level of mastery that allows you to guide, inspire others, share those, the gifts of this art
Yeah.
with the next generation.
It's a privilege and an honor, and it speaks to the transformative power of Taekwondo.
Mm.
It's not just about learning to kick and punch. It's about developing character, resilience, a deep sense of self-worth.
One of the things that really struck me when we were going through the research was the emphasis on those mental and emotional aspects
Yes.
of Taekwondo. It's not just a physical discipline. It's a journey
Right.
of self-discovery and personal growth.
That's where the true beauty of the art lies. The belt system with its, structured progression and emphasis on self-discipline, it provides that framework for that inner journey.
So each belt level, you're saying, represents, it's not just a set of physical skills, but it's almost like a stage of mental and emotional development.
Yeah, you're constantly challenged to push your limits, overcome your fears, and develop a deeper understanding of yourself.
And those lessons learned on the mat,
Yeah.
those moments of perseverance, triumph,
Right.
they don't stay confined to the dojang.
No, they don't. They ripple outwards, impacting every aspect of your life.
Right.
That's the true legacy of the belt system. It's not just about achieving a certain rank or wearing a certain color. It's about cultivating a mindset, a set of values that empowers you to live a more fulfilling, a more meaningful life.
Makes you wonder, what if we could apply these principles to other areas of our lives?
Oh, yeah.
Could we create our own belt systems for learning a new language or mastering a musical instrument or even achieving our personal goals?
That's a brilliant idea. And it speaks to the universality of these principles, whether it's a traditional martial art, a creative pursuit, or a professional endeavor.
Yeah.
The same elements of structured progression, clear goals, and self-discipline, they can be applied.
Imagine breaking down a complex skill into smaller, more manageable steps.
Yeah.
Setting those milestones along the way, celebrating those achievements as you progress.
And surrounding yourself with that. With a community of support, mentors who have already walked the path and can offer guidance and encouragement.
It's like taking the wisdom of this of the Taekwondo belt system and using it to create our own personal blueprints
Yeah.
for growth, for mastery.
It's an empowering thought, isn't it? That
Yeah.
we have that ability to structure our own learning journeys
hmm
and unlock our full potential in any area we choose.
We've talked a lot about the positive aspects, but I'm curious,
Yeah.
are there any potential downsides or things to be wary of?
That's an important question. Like any system, the belt system in Taekwondo, it's not perfect.
Right.
There's always a risk uh, of getting too caught up in those external rewards, the pursuit of that next belt,
Yeah.
and losing sight of the intrinsic joy, that personal growth that should be at the heart of the practice.
It's like that old saying, don't lose sight of the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
It's easy to get fixated on the next goal, the next promotion, and forget why you started this journey in the first place.
And for some, that pressure to achieve, to progress through the ranks quickly, it can create unnecessary stress, anxiety.
And it's important to remember that everyone learns at their own pace. There's no rush, no need to compare yourself to others. The journey is just as important as the destination.
And that's where the role of the instructor becomes crucial.
Yeah.
It's about fostering a supportive and inclusive training environment where students feel encouraged to learn and grow at their own pace without judgment or pressure.
So it's about striking a balance between challenging students to push their limits and celebrating their individual progress.
Exactly.
No matter how big or small.
The belt system should be a tool for empowerment, not a source of stress or discouragement. It's about finding that sweet spot where students feel motivated to learn, to grow, and achieve their full potential.
So the key is to focus on the process, the journey of self-improvement,
Right.
rather than getting fixated on those external rewards.
Precisely. The belts, they're simply markers along the way, symbols of the progress you've made. The true value lies in the transformation that takes place within you, the resilience you develop, the confidence you gain, the sense of community you experience.
It's like those belts are telling a story,
Mm-hmm.
not just of your technical skills, but of your personal growth, the challenges you've overcome.
And that story is unique to each individual. There's no right or wrong way to progress through the belt system.
Yeah.
It's about embracing your own journey, finding your own rhythm, and celebrating your own victories along the way.
You know, it's really amazing how something like a belt system can be so simple and yet hold so much depth.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? Thinking about all this, I'm realizing that these principles aren't limited to Taekwondo.
Right.
We see similar structures in other martial arts, obviously.
Yeah.
But in music education, they have those graded exams.
Yeah.
Even in scouting.
It makes you wonder if there are other areas, right, where we could benefit from adopting these kinds of systems, breaking down those complex skills into stages, having those visual markers of progress, fostering that sense of community support.
It's almost like a blueprint for learning and growth that can be, adapted to fit any field. I bet even for something like building a business, you could find ways to incorporate these principles.
Exactly. Think about the way entrepreneurs set milestones.
Right.
Build teams celebrate reaching those funding targets.
Right.
There are definitely parallels there.
It's just fascinating how, exploring one system can open your eyes to these patterns that repeat across so many different areas of life.
Yeah, and it really highlights the power of thoughtful design, doesn't it? When a system is well crafted, it can truly enhance the learning experience.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a traditional martial art or a modern professional field.
As we start to wrap up this deep dive, what's the biggest takeaway you hope our listener walks away with?
I think it's the understanding that the Taekwondo belt system is so much more than just a ranking.
Right.
It's a tool for self-discovery, a framework for building resilience, a path towards a more fulfilling life.
And a reminder that those principles of structured progression, clear goals, community support can be applied to, any area where we seek growth and mastery.
Precisely. And to our listener out there, I would say this. Think about your own learning journey. Are there areas where you could adapt these principles? Maybe it's about setting more concrete goals,
Yeah.
breaking down a large task into smaller steps,
Uh,
or finding a group of like-minded individuals to share the journey with.
it's about taking inspiration from this, this ancient tradition and applying it to your own modern life.
Exactly.
Who knows, you might even create your own belt system for personal growth.
And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination.
Right.
Celebrate those small victories along the way. Embrace the challenges and never stop striving to become the best version of yourself.
Beautifully said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Taekwondo and its fascinating belt system.
My pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep exploring.